At this time, I will now turn this webinar over to Ms. Linda for us to begin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Linda Ruelas, and I'm an assistant commissioner here for BACP for Business Licensing Division. So just a quick presentation outline. We're going to be overviewing some of our small business center and all the activities that we do here. We're going to be going over our business licensing. And as mentioned before, we're going to have a brief Q&A at the end of the presentation. So an overview of the Small Business Center. The Small Business Center is a one-stop shop for all City of Chicago business licensing needs. So BACP Small Business Center is responsible for issuing over 30,000 business licenses every single year. The Small Business Center is located on the 8th floor of City Hall in room 800, and we're open from walk-ins from 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. As mentioned before, you can always process all business licenses through our online portal system, going directly through chicago.gov/Chicago Business Direct. Some of our business license requirements. So most businesses that are going to be operating in the City of Chicago will require a City of Chicago business license. There are some exceptions to requiring a business license with the City of Chicago. Some of the exceptions are doctor's offices, attorneys, architects, CPAs. These do not require to have a City of Chicago business license. For further designations of those that do not require a business license, you can always visit the IDFPR, which is the Illinois Department of Professional Regulations, for the full list of all licenses that are exempt in the City of Chicago. Any trade license, those have to do with general contractors, electricians, plumbing, and mason licenses are issued by the Department of Buildings. So we have three different types of business licenses here. We have what we call our limited business licenses, which fall under retail sales and administrative offices. We have regulated business licenses that cover our home occupation licenses, our home repairs, body art, hotels, expediters, as well as residential real estate developer licenses. Our more specialized licenses are retail food, liquor, tobacco, animal care, children's services, filling station, gas stations, garages, massage establishments, motor vehicle service licenses, as well as our public place of amusement licenses. Business licenses application stages. The first thing is that you need to decide specifically how it is that you want to apply for a business license, whether you're going to apply as a sole proprietor or if you're going to apply as a corporation or an LLC. So you have to define the business activity that you're also going to be doing at the specified location where you're going to be applying at. After you've decided if you're going to apply as a sole proprietor, or if you're going to apply as a legal entity, and after you've defined the location where you want to apply for, and as well as the business activity, once you come in to apply with us, it's going to go under a zoning review. So zoning will check to make sure that the business activity that you are applying for is allowed at that very specific address location that you've given us. And if all requirements are met, once the application is complete, then the application will be ready for payment. Depending on the type of license you're applying for, there will be some additional inspections required. Some of these inspections could include a license debt check, as well as on-site inspections for anything related to retail food, motor vehicle repair licenses that have to do with tires that are over 100, storing over 100 tires on site will require a fire inspection, but all of that information is available when you come in to apply for the business license. So once you have passed all of your inspections, then the license will be ready to issue. The majority of our licenses are issued for 2-year terms, with the exception of a couple licenses that are less than 2 years. But again, we can give you all that information at the end of the presentation. So deciding whether applying as a sole proprietor, a legal entity, you have to register accordingly. So the business, legal, and DBA name, the ownership information, and legal entity type all have to be decided upon before you come down to see us, as well as the business location and the square footage. This is one of the questions that we're going to ask you when it comes down to zoning, is the specific address of where it is that you want to apply at, as well as the square footage of the business location. We're also going to need a very detailed description of all the business activities that are going to be conducted on site as well as any offsite business activities, just so that we have a full scope of exactly how it is that you're going to be operating your business. And to process a business license application, we require to have a valid government issued photo ID for anyone that holds ownership on the business license. If applicable, and if you are applying under a corporation or an LLC, we will require you to provide for us your Illinois Secretary of State file number, as well as your federal employee identification number, the EIN number. Think about the EIN number as the social security number for the legal entity that you're applying under. And if you're going to be doing any retail sales in the city of Chicago, you are required to have an IDOR number. All brick and mortar business license applications undergo a zoning review. We encourage everyone to not sign a lease or make any financial commitments until you are sure that the location where you are trying to apply at is allowed for the type of business activity that you are conducting. A lot of the times we do have businesses that have been in the location for years. Never assume that just because you are taking over that location that you will be able to continue with the exact same use. We always encourage customers to come down and see us here at City Hall, or to send us an email and just give us the the business license location of where it is that you plan on operating out of, and the business activity that you want to do. That way we can have our zoning team review the actual business license location, the activity, to ensure that it's allowed. We want to make sure that you try to do this before signing a lease, before getting yourself into any commitment, just to ensure that you are able to operate your license at that specified location. After business licenses applications have been approved, the applicant will be allowed to make payment, and then the application will undergo any additional inspections if need be. So as mentioned before, the Department of Finance, they're going to run a debt check to ensure that there is no amount due to the city having to do with parking tickets, water bills, things of that nature. If for any reason there is some financial debt that does come up, there are payment plans that you are able to sign up for. And once we do have proof of the payment plan, then we're able to continue on with the Department of Finance's inspection. Another inspection that you might have is if you're doing anything with retail food, it would require the Chicago Department of Public Health to go out and do an on-site inspection for certain license types. Also, depending on the type of application you're doing, specifically for tobacco, for children's facilities, liquor, a background check for fingerprints is required for any officer that will be listed on the license. And the Department of Buildings and Fire inspections are also some inspections that we do for our business licenses, again, depending on the type of license you are applying for. Once all of these inspecting departments have done their inspections and have put in their approvals, then that is when we are finally able to issue the business license. So what can you expect when you come down to see us here in person? So when you walk in, the first thing you're going to do is obtain a ticket from our front desk, which will allow you then to speak to one of our in-person business consultants. While speaking with the business consultant, you will be giving our business information sheet. This is basically our pre-application form, where you're going to be telling us specifically how it is that you're going to apply for this particular business. You're going to give us the business address, location, the business activity, as well as any owner officers who will be listed on the license. Once we have this information, the business consultant will then just kind of go over the information provided, ask you some additional questions to get a little bit further knowledge of what it is that you're trying to do, and then generate the business application. Once the business application is generated, it will go directly to zoning. Zoning will review it on the spot as you're still in your consultation with the business consultant. And by the end of the consultation, you will have zoning's determination. Depending on the type of business license you are applying for, it might be required for you to come back with building permits, parking determination letters, things of that nature. But we're here to assist you through all of that, and we can definitely guide you through that process and let you know what other departments you need to speak to in order to make sure that you are able to proceed and have a zoning approval. If no other inspections are required and if zoning approves you, then you are able to walk out with your business license on the same day, depending on the business license type. So If you're trying to apply for a limited business license for a retail store for gym shoes, clothing, once you come in and apply and zoning approves you, you are able to walk out with your business license that very same day. For some of our other licenses, which require other departments to put in their approvals, then once you pay, those departments will be notified to go out and inspect your location. They will be contacting you directly to set up on-site inspections. And we will definitely let you know specifically what things you kind of have to keep in mind to look out for that you have to provide to those inspectors once they go out and do their on-site inspections. You do have the option to have us mail out your business license once all approvals are entered, or we can always put a hold on the account to allow for you to come and pick up your business license in person. We unfortunately at this time do not offer digital versions of the business license, so we either mail them out to the actual business location or we can hold them here for pickup in person. When you apply for a business license online, when you go to Chicago Business Direct, you will be prompted to create a user profile if you haven't done so already. So once you create a user profile, you will be required to upload your ID just to verify that you are the person who created the user profile. And then from there, you are able then to start the application process online. So the customer may complete several applications online for their business, which include, but it's not limited to, new business locations, meaning that there is no business license, no prior account with the city of Chicago. If you currently have a business license and you want to add an additional license, or you're moving your business license locations, you're able to do that as well online. You're also able to update any ownership, any officer information online as well. Do all your renewals online, and if you are closing or canceling the license, then you're also able to do that online. Be aware that when you are applying for a license online, there is a $25 deposit fee for online applications. The $25 deposit fee will go towards the total cost of your business license once completed. If for whatever reason it comes back that zoning isn't allowed, or what you're trying to do isn't allowed at that specific location, the $25 is not refundable. So if you have any doubts or are not sure, we always suggest that you come down to see us here at City Hall, or that you send us an email directly so that we could check the zoning for you prior to your application process. So for any further information on business licenses, you can always visit our website directly, listed here online. Or you can always come and see us here at City Hall in person. If you have any general licensing questions, you can always send us an email at businesslicense@cityofchicago.org. Or you can always send us an email at chicagobusinessdirect@cityofchicago.org. You are also able to actually pull a ticket online prior to coming in. So you're able to do that and check what the wait times are in real time. So that way you have a better idea of how busy our day is looking. And like I mentioned before, you're able to pull a ticket online, but just keep in mind that if your ticket is called and you're not here at that time, then we have to move on to the next number and you will be required to pull a new ticket. So at this moment in time, I'll go ahead and open it up for any questions.
Does e-commerce business need a business license?
Yes. So it really depends, again, on the location of where you're going to be operating your business, whether you're going to be doing the e-commerce from a brick and mortar location, meaning a commercial location, or if you're going to be doing the e-commerce from home. Depending on that, we could tell what business license you need to be applying for. If you are doing any type of, let's say if you're going to do an e-commerce from home, that would fall under a home occupation license. But just keep in mind that from home, you are limited to the type of items that you are able to sell. One of the questions that we're going to ask is if you're selling any electronic devices. If you are, you're not able to do that from home. You actually have to have a commercial location for that. Zoning is also going to want to know specifically the square footage that you're going to be occupying for your e-commerce. So anytime you're applying for a business license from home, We basically just want to know what is the square footage that you're going to be taking up in your house for the administrative aspect of your business, meaning the marketing, the billing, the calling. So basically wherever your computer is, how much is that space that you're occupying? If you are going to be using a warehouse to store your items, if you're drop shipping, we need to know all that information as well during the application process. So the next question we have is, what about a consulting services of an LLC that are not remote? You are able to be, we would license you as an administrative office for a profession for consulting services. We actually do have that. You are able to do this from home as well as from a commercial location. If you are doing this from home, there are some restrictions, specifically with the number of employees that you can have working out of your home, as well as not having actual people come in and out of your home. Because again, we're licensing you to do these activities from home, but it's just an administrative aspect of your business. I think that kind of answers to another question that we had regarding whether or not they're running a consulting business out of their home. Again, you are able to do that from home. You just basically have to specify specifically what the square footage is, specifically what type of consulting it is that you're going to be doing from home. And again, if you're going to have any employees that are going to be working out of your home. The following question we have is, if my office is in a suburb, do I still need a City of Chicago business license to operate my painting and repair business in Chicago? So if you're going to be doing any painting or home repair, you do need a business license from the City of Chicago if you're going to be doing any work in the City of Chicago. So even though your office is in the suburb, and that's where you're going to be doing the administrative aspect, we will issue you a license because you will be doing work in the City of Chicago. But if your license is if your home office or main office is in the suburbs and all your business is handled outside of the City of Chicago, then you would not be required to have a City of Chicago business license. Does a media production company need a business license? Yes, again, depending specifically what type of media production it is that you're going to be doing, photography, videography, things of that nature. We need to know specifically what it is that you're going to be doing, the address where you're going to be doing it at, as well as the square footage. We'll be able to review the recording. Yes, all of our recordings are posted on our YouTube channel, which is listed here on the website as well. So if my company just uses cars, do I need a business license? I think we would need a little bit more information on that background question, meaning, is your company renting out cars to other businesses for use in the city? We would need a little bit more information on that. What about non-for-profit? The one thing that you have to remember with us is that you tell us specifically how it is that you're going to apply for your business license. So whether you decide to create a non-for-profit, whether you decide to create a corporation, an LLC, if you're just gonna, have your business license be under a sole proprietor, meaning just your name only, any partnerships, you tell us specifically how it is that you're going to be applying for the business license, and that is how we're going to issue it. Now, if we issue you a business license as a sole proprietor, meaning it's just you, your name, and you get a 2-year license, and within those 2 years, you decide that you want to open up a corporation and now run the business under the corporation, you're going to have to reapply again under the corporation name. So it's always good to talk to a financial advisor before you come to see us. That way they're able to guide you and explain to you the differences between corporation, LLCs, non-for-profit, and based on your specific scenario and your situation, they're able to guide you on what's best for you. So that way, when you come to apply, then you know specifically how it is that you're applying and how it is that we're going to issue that business license to you. If I have a GC license, do I also need a business license? You do not need a business license if you already have a GC license. I know a lot of the times, depending on the volume, we do have some GCs that get an administrative office license with us only because they're now going to be housing their commercial vehicles, as well as selling other items and create little storefronts. So that's when you would need a business license. But if you already have a GC license, then you're not required to get an additional business license with us. So if you ever had a business license with us, and if you have any questions whether or not that account is still active or would like access to that account to renew it, to cancel it, you're always able to send us an email to Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org. So you can just provide for us in the email your name, the address of where the business was located, and the legal name. And we're able to look that information up for you and let you know what the status of the license is. So the next question that we have is regarding the amount of space needed for a particular type of business or any areas that might be suitable. If you go directly to our website, we do have a zoning guide, and the zoning guide there breaks down the zoning designation areas. On the map, you're able to put the location of where you're interested in opening up your business. And once you do that in the zoning map, it'll tell you the what the zoning code is, and it would let you know specifically what area it falls under in the zoning designation and what things are allowed and not allowed. I'll be very honest with you, sometimes it's a little bit hard to read. Again, just send us an email directly and we can have one of our zoning guides here check everything for you and just to verify the address to make sure everything is okay. I always suggest sending us a couple addresses. That way you have an idea, and that way you're able to make a more informed decision. So I have a question regarding vending machines. So they have a vending machine, they've already created an LLC. So again, we don't issue licenses, different licenses for LLCs, corporations, non-for-profits. We issue licenses based on the business type, and then you tell us how it is that you're applying for that business license. When it comes to vending machines, you are required to have a commercial office space for the vending machine and to store any overflow of the product. So whether you're just vending, pop, chips, and candy, or whether you're vending eyelashes, phone chargers, nail filers, you're still required to have a commercial office space for the vending machines. Does an alteration and so suiting your business as so yeah, so if you're doing any type of alterations, sewing, you are required to have a City of Chicago business license. And we do have a specific business activity for that is basically for clothing alterations. If that's a 2-year license, and the license fee for that is $250 for 2 years. So to apply for a GC license, that is done with the Department of Buildings. It's actually a paper application. The paper application gives you step-by-step instructions on what it is that you need to submit. I know that there are some insurance documents that are needed in order to submit to the application. There's also a contact person and an email for you to follow up with them. You're able to find that information directly with the Department of Buildings website. You're able to download the application directly online, fill it out, and then it gives you the mailing address of where you need to mail it back to. I think that seems to be it for the questions that we have so far. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us directly, and that way we can answer your questions. If you have any follow-up questions, you can always email our outreach department as well, and they're able to forward us any licensing questions. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, for today's presentation. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program and would like to receive credit for today's webinar, please visit chicago.gov/BACP certificate. That's chicago.gov/BACP certificate. To learn more about our upcoming webinars, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Again, that's chicago.gov/business education. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.